Expert woodsman who can cut down a tree more easily than most people can chop one up. When it really comes to tackling large lumps, you can't beat the men of the forestry companies.
An axeman's gathering.
This is Thomas losing the loss and gets it.
STIHL Timbersports Canada is brought to you by the City of Charlottetown. Great things happen here. And by STIHL IMO. Welcome to Canada's STIHL Timbersports Series. STIHL's Canadian Championship is comprised of 3 rounds and 6 overall disciplines unique to the world of STIHL Timbersports. In round number 1, all athletes will face 3 separate disciplines: the underhand chop, the stock saw, and the standing block chop. From here, our top 8 athletes with most overall points move on to compete in round number 2. In round number 2, our athletes will compete in 2 more disciplines. They are the single buck and the springboard chop. After round number 2 is complete, our top 6 athletes with the most cumulative points will move on to compete in our 3rd and final round. In round number 3, these 6 athletes will compete in our loudest and fastest discipline yet, the hot saw. At the end of the 3rd round, the athlete with the highest overall score will be crowned our Canadian STIHL Timbersports champion. This is the world of STIHL Timbersports.
Welcome to round 2 coverage of our 2022 STIHL Timbersports Canadian Championship. Our host city for this event is beautiful Charlottetown, Prince Edward Island. At the end of round 1, we cut our field from 12 athletes down to 8 for round 2.
That's right, Lindsay, and only the top 6 athletes after our next 2 disciplines will advance to our 3rd and final round. During our final round, our STIHL Timbersports athletes will compete to claim the top spot at our 2022 Canadian Championship, and in doing so, 1 athlete will secure themselves a spot to represent STIHL's Team Canada at the STIHL Timbersports World Championships later this year. Before we get started with round 2 action, here's our official STIHL Timbersports scoreboard. Before we get underway, if a trip to the East Coast is on your bucket list, here is one of many great things about Charlottetown, PEI.
Take in a sunrise at Greenwich Beach, a stunning stretch of sandy shoreline along the Greenwich Peninsula. Greenwich has a long history with connections to Mi'kmaq and Acadian culture, an ever-evolving tale of shaping and reshaping of its landscapes through wind and waves. The site contains an extensive and fragile coastal dune system, wetlands, and various natural habitats in which numerous rare plant species are found. Greenwich features 3 beautiful hiking trails, from secluded wooded areas to open abandoned agricultural fields to spectacular vistas over Bowley Pond. Stay with us because coming up next, we kick off our round 2 action.
Hi folks, your STIHL Timbersports Canada co-host Ryan McIntyre here. Up next is our single buck discipline. Before we get started, let's have a look at the single buck.
Single buck. The single buck is a 6 to 6.5 foot long, one-man crosscut saw.
Nathan Cumberland bearing down on it.
The goal is to cut one 18-inch round white pine disc, or cookie, which is the term used to describe a disc of wood in STIHL Timbersports series.
It's gonna be a close heat. Wow!
You will need to use your whole body in a combination of power and rhythm to get through the log as fast as possible.
Right on his tail, Ben powering through the center, almost is.
This full-body workout is nicknamed the Misery Whip.
Almost is done.
10 strokes.
Wow.
All right, we're ready for our next heat of the single buck. Coming up on stand number 1, all the way from Pubnico, Nova Scotia, make some noise for Berlin Nickerson.
And head-to-head with Berlin, he's gonna have a tough task. Jeff Larkin, Middle Musquodoboit, Nova Scotia. Stand number 2, and he loves this event. I cannot stress this enough.
Absolutely, Jeff Larkin, a very technical sawyer. He loves the single buck, and his personal best was at the Canadian Championship last year with a 12.07.
Smoking cut he put in last year. I believe the wood here is just as good, if not better. I would not be surprised if he drops that time. If he has a smooth cut, this could be record wood.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
All right, folks, we're into our second heat of the single buck. Jeff Larkin versus Berlin Nickerson. Looking good. Jeff Larkin powering through the middle of that piece. He's almost done.
Strokes.
Holy smokes. Berlin right behind him, caught up a little bit. He's got to finish this off. Wow.
12 strokes in 12 seconds for Jeff Larkin. He's got to be happy with that.
That's amazing. He's hoping to beat his personal best of 12.07. We'll see that official time in just a couple seconds. Judges have to make the final call. Jeff Larkin happy about that one.
We have 2 good cuts.
Fantastic news from both of our competitors. What a heat.
That was the single buck cut you were looking for, pal. Smooth, start to finish. Talk us through that cut.
It was a good cut. A little timid off the top, just trying to feel it out. If I got another cut, I'd be even faster, right? That's what we all say. So
that's what we all say. Jeff Larkin crushing it in this single buck.
All right, we're ready for our next heat of the single buck. Coming up on stand number 1, he's the beast from the east. Give it up for Marcel Dupuis!
And another beast right behind him on stand number 2, Nathan Cumberland.
This is going to be a great heat. Marcel Dupuis, he set a previous Canadian record back in 2015. He's your returning Canadian champion. And then there's Nathan Cumberland.
Big Nate. Both of these guys went back-to-back. They've broken this record and held it each.
So single buck is just about trying to be smooth. So that's, I have a good saw. So once I'm into the wood, it's just trying to make the saw cut the wood. So not trying to make any miracles, just let the saw do the work. And that's the trick about single buck. Let the saw cut. That's what it's meant to do. So that's what you let it do.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
Here we go, folks. It's our next heat of the single buck. Nathan Cumberland bearing down on it. Marcel Dupuis right on his tail. It's going to be a close heat. Wow!
11 strokes each. They added some time there to Nathan's, but that was 10 and change.
That is absolutely going to be a photo finish, folks.
We have 2 good cuts.
2 incredible cuts from Marcel Dupuis and Nathan Cumberland.
That was a phenomenal cut. Anything you could have done differently there?
No, it went very well. There's a couple of pulls that were pushed that could have been a bit better, but I'd like to thank Donald Lambert. He just refiled that saw and he makes it work.
Don't go anywhere, folks. We have more exciting coverage of the 2022 STIHL Timbersports Canadian Championship coming right up. Welcome back to the city of Charlottetown, PEI. Before the break, we completed the first 3 heats of our single buck discipline. Now let's tune in to our final heat.
All right, folks, we're ready for our last heat of the single buck. Coming up on stand number 1, make some noise for Nick Russell!
And on stand 2, Big Nate's brother, Ben Cumberland.
What an incredible last heat we just had. It really helps to be competing against the other best in Canada.
Yeah.
It really makes your performance just go higher and higher.
Well, they push each other to do better all the time.
Absolutely.
You know, they know where each other's at. Nate, the first thing he said to me, did I get him? Did I get him? They want to know. They're in here to win. And I'll tell you right now, in this heat, Nick Russell, great single bucker. Ben Cumberland, he very well could come and take this one.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
Excellent opening pulls for our competitors, but it's Ben Cumberland who's bringing the speed. Nick Russell right on his tail. Ben powering through the center, almost is done.
10 strokes.
Wow, there we go.
Wow. And Nick, not to be done, beautiful cut by Nick too, but 10 strokes for Ben to get through that log.
That is definitely reading the wood right.
We have 2 good cuts.
Fantastic news for both of our competitors. That's it, folks. We are at the end of our single buck. Ben Cumberland feeling good, walking away with his unofficial time of 10.20 seconds.
All right, gang, here with Ben Cumberland, 10 strokes in 10.2 seconds on 18-inch white pine. Ben, unofficially, that is a world record. An incredible cut on that wood here today in Charlottetown. How are you feeling after that?
Pretty emotional. Today has gone incredibly, and I'm just so thankful. God's been so good today.
You're working so hard, buddy. You're doing a great job here at the 2022 championships. Ben Cumberland gonna go get ready for another event, the Springboard Chop, but a big hand for Ben here in Charlottetown with that incredible cut. With our single buck discipline complete, let's check in with our official STIHL Timbersports scoreboard before we start the last discipline of round 2, the Springboard Chop.
Make some noise for Berlin Nickerson.
And going head to head with Berlin, stand number 2, Jeff Larkin.
Springboard Chop is another very enjoyable event. I think anybody that does the series would say it's one of the funner events to do. Once most people get over that fear of having to jump up on boards and actually work at a height, it's very enjoyable to get up there and just chop away at that block.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
There we go, folks. We're right into the wood for Berlin Nickerson and Jeff Larkin on stand number 2. Berlin Nickerson, just a clinic on a pocket, looking good. Jeff Larkin right behind, not as strong, but actually, you know what? Look at 2 boards, looking good. On to the next one. Oh, Jeff Larkin not convinced with his first pocket, making a little bit more room, wants a strong board. Berlin, though, looking good. He's definitely has some people in the crowd cheering him on. I think he can use a bit more.
Good board up top. Berlin's got a great board.
Nice. That's definitely going to help. He's using the strength from his back leg. Big swing from Berlin Nickerson, but on stand number 2, let's take a look at Jeff Larkin working away at his second pocket. He's nice. He's looking good. We're just past the 50-second mark. That's where we want to be for Berlin Nickerson. Looking good, getting those big chunks out. That's what we want to see here. Looking good. He's almost done that front side. He'll be turning soon, but Jeff Larkin still working away on his second pocket. He's feeling convinced. He's moving those chips out of the way, placing in that board. Hopefully it's going to be the one he needs. Berlin Nickerson still working away on his front. Looking good. Jeff Larkin on top. Let's make some noise for him. Look at that board. That's definitely going to help him out. They got 30 seconds on the clock to make it work. Berlin's onto his other side.
Another minute. Still got 2 minutes 30 they've got.
Looking good. Almost there. Come on, Berlin. You got it. It's starting to wiggle.
Great board for Jeff Larkin up top. He's got lots of confidence. He needs to
lay
into that block and let it fly and not be afraid to hit that log with everything he's got.
On stand 1, we have a good cut. On stand 2, DQ for exceeding the time limit.
There you have it, folks. Let's have another big hand for both our competitors.
Stay with us, folks. Right after the break, we're back with more coverage of the Springboard Chop. Thanks for staying with us, folks. Let's get right back with heat number 2 of the Springboard Chop.
All right, folks, we're ready for our next heat of the Springboard Chop. Coming up on stand number 1, it's Marcel Dupuis.
Taking on Marcel. Stand number 2, Nathan Cumberland.
So the Springboard is a really fun event. It's a lot more, probably more technical than the other events. So for me, Springboard, the biggest thing is 2 good pockets. I'm not probably the fastest climber, but I like trying to make sure I get 2 good pockets. If the board starts to slope, it's hard to chop on them. So that'll be the biggest thing today, is making sure I make 2 good pockets and then chop the block up top to the best of my ability.
So Springboard is probably the most technical event that we do, because you need to have good pockets. Once you have a good pocket, you're able to chop. It's just like chopping a standing block. But the most important part of the Springboard chop is make sure to do 2 good pockets. Don't jump on the board if the pocket's not well or not good. It's not going to hold you. And yeah, and then once you get up top, get moving. Chop it right.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
Here we go, folks. Look at Nathan Cumberland. He wants to get those pockets done. He's feeling good about his first one. Marcel Dupuis right on his tail.
Great boards.
There we go, looking good. Moving that chip out of the way. Nathan, he needs that out of the way. He wants to make room for that pocket, but Marcel Dupuis working away on his pocket. He's feeling good. There we go. Marcel onto his second pocket.
Good
Nathan
boards.
Cumberland still behind him. Look at the strength of those boards. Those are good pockets, are paying off.
Marcel, he's
And
into it.
Marcel, he is just giving her lots of strength from both of our competitors. Looking good. They are 6 feet in the air chopping those blocks. We have family from both sides of our competitors cheering them on, but they can use every help they can get. Marcel onto his other side. We are at the 56-second mark. He's going to start going anytime soon. Nice! There we go, Nathan Cumberland turning to his other side. We're at 1-6. Looking good. He's feeling a big gas, but he's still going. Looking good. Keeping it safe. Nice.
You need strong boards to hold these big lads up. Great boards up top, Lindsay. Some great chopping there.
Fantastic.
All right, Marcel Dupuis taking down that heat in the Springboard chop. Looked like a good climb, cut it well up top. How'd you feel about the chop overall, Marcel?
The chop went well. The climb went well. I thought I was a bit deeper in the front side. Made more hits than I wanted to in the back, but that's competition.
You got it off. You got good points. You're guaranteed at least 3rd place in the Springboard chop, and I would say basically guaranteed going on to the 3rd and final round. The hot saw, your bread and butter. How are you feeling about that going into the hot saw?
We'll see if we can make it through. We'll try to make 3 cuts.
Just that simple for Marcel. No big deal. Congrats to you on a great cut in the Springboard, and best of luck in the hot saw, pal.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right, folks, we're ready for our last heat of the Springboard chop. Make some noise for Nick Russell!
And head-to-head with Nick. Having a heck of a day here. Stand number 2, Ben Cumberland. He is hungry, Lindsay, for that first Canadian championship.
Absolutely. He's been on the podium before, and this time he wants that top spot.
Springboard, tree surfing. It's so much fun. And it would be a lot more fun if I wasn't nervous about being up there, 6 feet high with an axe in my hands. Nervous on the top board, I tend to tighten up a bit and the axe will freeze in the block, so I just need to kind of keep the axe going and again, do the best cut that I can.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
Here we go, folks. It's our last heat of the Springboard chop. Wow.
4-hitter.
Ben Cumberland with a 4-hit pocket. He's not wasting any time, but Nick Russell's right on his tail. There we go. That training has really come into handy. Ben Cumberland getting those chips out of the way. Bit of a longer pocket, but it's not making any difference. We're at the 20-second mark, and Ben Cumberland, stand number 2, is up top. Let's make some noise for him.
This is gonna be a good one.
Bit of slope for Nick Russell on stand number 2 on his first board. He's looking for a stronger pocket on that second one. But Ben Cumberland taking it really specific. Look hitting his marks. Nice big slope from his hits. Nick Russell placing in his second board at the 52nd mark. It is looking close, looking good. Ben Cumberland on the exchange. You gotta make some noise for your athletes. Looking good at the 1-7 mark. Looking good for both of our athletes. 2 strong boards. Nick Russell, stand 1 from Port McNeil, BC. Ben Cumberland, stand number 2. It's starting to go, and it's gone. Here we go, folks. It's our last heat of the springboard chop. Nick Russell still working away on that front side. We're at the 132nd mark. Looking good. He's still looking for a clean time. There we go. He's got his family cheering him on. He's on to his other side. Nice. That is one tough piece of timber up there. That's not helping, but he's working hard up there. He's feeling it. He's got it.
We have 2 good cuts.
Fantastic news for our athletes here, and that wraps up our springboard chop.
All right, folks, here with Nick Russell. Looked like not too bad a climb, bit of tough wood up top, but overall, how'd you feel about the cut, Nick?
Hey, I got a good cut in there. I got just 2 minutes, but I struggled with the top pocket a bit, but got it done.
You got it done, you got a time, and I think based on how you've been running here today, pretty good chance we may see Nick here in the 3rd and final round in the hot saw. What would it mean for you to get a chance at a Canadian title in the final round?
Oh, it'd be a dream come true, and there's 3-4 other guys that are trying to get that too.
You betcha. It's going to be a tight race, but Nick's had a great day. Big hand for Nick Russell here, Charlottetown PEI, the Canadian Championships.
What a strong finish to the springboard chop. Here is our official STIHL Timbersports standings at the end of round 2. Our top 6 athletes will advance to our 3rd and final round. Thanks again for joining us in beautiful Charlottetown, PEI. We hope you tune in next week for more coverage of our 2022 STIHL Timbersports Canadian Championship.